Welcome to Defense Briefing. The content of the briefing includes why Rishi Sunak's UK Conservatives are talking about a Canadian election 30 years ago. Clifford scores 21, Colorado State defeats UNLV 78-75. Stanford's Tara Vanderveer earns 1,202nd victory to tie Mike Krzyzewski's record. Zvi Zamir, Israeli spy chief amid war and tragedy, dies at 98. Iran's sudden strikes show just how perilous region has become. Why Rishi Sunak's UK Conservatives are talking about a Canadian election 30 years ago. Bloomberg. The UK Conservative Party is facing growing doubts over its chance of success in the next general election, which is expected to take place in the second half of 2024. Polls indicate that the party trails the opposition Labour Party by a significant margin. The Prime Minister's top campaign strategist warned Conservative MPs to stop undermining the PM if they wanted to avoid defeat. However, within 24 hours, 60 MPs had rebelled against Rishi Sunak's flagship migration law. A YouGov poll showed Labour with a 27-point lead, while another poll projected Labour winning a 120-seat majority. The threat of Nigel Farage's Reform Party, which could take votes from the Conservatives, is causing concern. Tory MPs are worried that the party could suffer a defeat similar to that experienced by Canada's Progressive Conservatives in 1993. Some Tory MPs are considering quitting before the election, and cabinet ministers are finalising plans for future careers in the corporate world. Pollsters warn that if the Tories fail to deliver on the economy, immigration, and public services, the situation will worsen. Clifford scores 21, Colorado State defeats UNLV 78-75. Associated Press. Nick Clifford scored 21 points in Colorado State's 78-75 win over UNLV. Clifford also had 7 rebounds, while Isaiah Stevens scored 18 points and added 6 rebounds and 7 assists. Keelan Boone led UNLV with 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Colorado State erased a 5-point deficit with an 8-0 run in the second half to secure the victory. Colorado State's next game is against Nevada on Wednesday, while UNLV hosts Air Force on Tuesday. Stanford's Tara Vanderveer earns 1,202nd victory to tie Mike Krzyzewski's record. Associated Press. Tara Vanderveer tied Mike Krzyzewski as the winningest coach in college basketball history with her 1,202nd victory Friday night, guiding the number 8 Cardinal past Oregon 88-63 while losing leading scorer Cameron Brink for the final 3 quarters with a leg injury. Zvi Zamir, Israeli spy chief amid war and tragedy, dies at 98. Washington Post. Zvi Zamir, a former chief of Israeli intelligence agency Mossad, has died aged 98. Zamir was head of the organization during the 1972 Munich Olympics, where Palestinian terrorists killed 11 Israeli athletes. Following the attack, Mossad launched a decade-long operation, codenamed Wrath of God, aimed at killing suspected Palestinian terrorists. The operation resulted in the deaths of around a dozen militant leaders, including Ali Hassan Salameh, believed to have been behind the Munich attack. Zamir was also closely involved in the Yom Kippur War of 1973, in which Israel was caught off guard by surprise attacks from Syrian and Egyptian forces. According to some accounts, Zamir was given warning of the attacks, but his superiors did not take action. After leaving Mossad in 1974, Zamir worked in construction and energy, and also participated in the investigation into the assassination of Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin in 1995. Iran's sudden strikes show just how perilous region has become. BBC. Iran has carried out a series of attacks on targets in Iraq, southern Lebanon, and Pakistan. The attacks appear to be a message to the US, Israel, and broader region, and come at a time when Iran is under increasing pressure from domestic protests and economic woes. The attacks have been described as shadow wars and are part of Iran's broader strategy to exert influence across the Middle East. However, despite the attacks, analysts believe that Iran is unlikely to want to escalate the situation further at this time. The country is facing significant domestic challenges, and a larger conflict could expose it to a high level of risk. The attacks have been condemned by Iraq, the Arab League, and Pakistan. However, Iran appears to have achieved its aims of sending a message to its enemies and allies alike. The situation remains dangerous and unpredictable, with the potential for further attacks and escalations in the region. Organization claims success in getting Bible removed from VA's POW MIA table. Yahoo! The Military Religious Freedom Foundation, MRFF, has succeeded in having a large Bible removed from the POW MIA missing man table at the Wilkes-Barre VA Medical Center. The founder of the MRFF, Michael L. Weinstein, claims this is a banner day for the organization. Weinstein says the Bible was removed from the table within 24 hours of the MRFF's demand, and it was removed on the advice of VA's Office of General Counsel. Weinstein considers this a fantastic and impactful legal precedent for the MRFF and its clients. For reasons North Korea abandoning reunification raises chance of war. South China Morning Post. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has declared South Korea as the country's invariable principal enemy and called for the constitution to be revised to codify the commitment to completely occupying South Korean territory in the event of war. This is the first time North Korea has publicly abandoned the goal of unification. The chances of accidental military clashes or an outbreak of conflict on the peninsula have increased, and North Korea is expected to accelerate its military buildup and nuclear weapons programs. The U.S. is unlikely to be able to defuse the situation, and a resumption of diplomacy this year is unlikely. The risk of a North Korean nuclear war is rising. Bloomberg. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made a strategic decision to go to war with the U.S., according to scholars Robert Carlin and Siegfried Hecker. The pair believe that Kim Jong-un's recent speeches, in which he threatened to thoroughly annihilate the U.S. and its allies, indicate that he considers nuclear weapons to be his treasured sword of annihilation. Carlin and Hecker argue that the situation on the Korean peninsula could become a major international crisis. For 3 decades following the end of the Cold War, 3 generations of the Kim family sought an arrangement with the U.S., believing that nuclear weapons were necessary to deter invasion. However, the Kims now believe that the U.S. will always seek to eliminate them. Talks between the U.S. and North Korea ended badly in 2018 and 2019, with Kim Jong-un deciding that the U.S. was only interested in denuclearization and photo opportunities. As a result, North Korea has resumed nuclear testing and is building bombs and missiles at an accelerated pace. The unstoppable wars have destroyed our lives. BBC. Palestinians in Gaza have spoken of their fears for the future as Israel intensifies its offensive on Khan Yunis. Many displaced families are fleeing the area, with the majority of Gaza's 2.3 million people still displaced and struggling to find basic necessities such as food, drink and medicine. One man, Mohammed al-Khaldi, said, "I lost my home, my shop and my source of income. I am no longer able to provide the simplest requirements of life for my children. I hold the Israeli occupation responsible for the massive destruction, but I do not absolve Hamas of responsibility for everything that happened." Microsoft executives' emails hacked by group tied to Russian intelligence. New York Times. A Russian hacking group sponsored by Russian intelligence gained access to the emails of some of Microsoft's senior executives beginning in late November, according to the company. The group, known as Midnight Blizzard, has targeted various organizations in the past, including the Democratic National Committee in 2015 and SolarWinds in 2020. Microsoft said the hackers used a basic tactic known as password spraying, in which they try common passwords on a wide range of accounts, to gain access to the corporate email accounts. Microsoft stated that there is no evidence that the group had any access to customer environments, production systems, source code, or AI systems. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite Sixth Doctor here, bringing you the latest news from the 6 dimensions. Today, we've got a mix of political drama, sports triumph, historical reflections, international tensions, religious controversies, and cybersecurity concerns. So, let's dive in. First up, we have the UK Conservative Party facing doubts over their chances in the next general election. With polls showing a significant lead for the opposition Labour Party, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's team is warning MPs to stop undermining him. However, rebellious MPs and the threat of Nigel Farage's Reform Party are causing further concerns. Some Tory MPs are even considering quitting, and cabinet ministers are already planning their future corporate careers. It seems like the Conservatives are worried about suffering a defeat similar to Canada's Progressive Conservatives in 1993. Will they be able to turn things around? Only time will tell. In sports news, Colorado State's basketball team secured a victory against UNLV, thanks to Clifford's impressive performance. Clifford scored 21 points, while Isaiah Stevens contributed 18 points and 7 assists. It was a thrilling game that saw Colorado State erase a 5-point deficit to snatch the win. Well done, team. Moving on to the world of college basketball, Stanford's Tara Vanderveer made history by tying Mike Krzyzewski as the winningest coach in college basketball. With her 1,202nd victory, Vanderveer guided the number 8 Cardinal to a resounding win against Oregon. A fantastic achievement for a legendary coach. Now, let's take a moment to remember Zvi Zamir, the former chief of Israeli intelligence agency Mossad, who passed away at the age of 98. Zamir played a crucial role during the 1972 Munich Olympics, where Palestinian terrorists killed 11 Israeli athletes. He led the Wrath of God operation, targeting suspected Palestinian terrorists in the aftermath of the attack. Zamir was also involved in the Yom Kippur War of 1973. His legacy will be remembered in the annals of Israeli history. Shifting our focus to the Middle East, Iran has been carrying out a series of attacks on various targets, sending a message to its enemies and allies alike. These shadow wars are part of Iran's strategy to exert influence across the region. While analysts believe that Iran is unlikely to escalate the situation further due to domestic challenges, the region remains dangerous and unpredictable. The potential for further attacks and escalations looms large. In a controversial move, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation succeeded in having a Bible removed from the POW MIA missing man table at a VA medical center. Founder Michael L. Weinstein sees this as a significant victory, considering it a fantastic and impactful legal precedent. Religious freedom and its boundaries continue to be debated in various contexts. Turning our attention to North Korea, the country's leader, Kim Jong-un, has declared South Korea as its invariable principal enemy and abandoned the goal of reunification. This raises the chances of military clashes or an outbreak of conflict on the Korean peninsula. With North Korea accelerating its military buildup and nuclear weapons programs, the situation becomes more precarious. The U.S.'s ability to defuse the situation seems unlikely, and a resumption of diplomacy this year is doubtful. Tensions are rising, and the risk of a North Korean nuclear war is becoming more real. Lastly, we have news of a cybersecurity breach. A Russian hacking group, Midnight Blizzard, sponsored by Russian intelligence, gained access to the emails of Microsoft's senior executives. Using a tactic known as password spraying, the hackers were able to breach the corporate email accounts. However, Microsoft assures us that customer environments, production systems, source code, and AI systems were not compromised. It's a reminder that even tech giants are vulnerable to cyber attacks. And there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of the latest news from the 6 dimensions. It's a mixed bag of political challenges, sports triumphs, historical reflections, international tensions, religious controversies, and cybersecurity concerns. Now, it's your turn. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions or opinions you'd like to share? The Sixth Doctor is here to listen and engage with our amazing audience. Let's get the conversation started. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.